Oh, everyone, we're now being recorded. We're also being posted out on the Facebook group live. And we're going to get into our reasons today why we are here. Um, Maybe clarity will come across to everyone who may be questioning what are we up to? Um, so, Cindy, why don't you and I just have a discussion so those who are in here will be able to kind of listen as to what has happened between you and I.
Yeah, Tyron. It's from the Facebook we met really. When I created the Africa United Continent, um,
Okay.
just suddenly that you have a group called Exploring the Continent of Africa, which I joined. Then I brought some of my members in your group because we are sharing the same vision, trying to take Africa forward and unite the Black people. Because if Africa is not free, there will be no Black free wherever we are in this world. That is why I think we have to find a way to unite Africa. That is the unity of Black people. And that is why I formed the Africa United Continent. And I know is a comparison with your group. And that is why we are working together. But when I started the Africa United Continent, I plan to make sure that I have all the countries inside the group. Then plan to form a country. That is what we call the United Cultures of Africa. Because if we are able to have these organizations in all our different Black countries, then the family is building up. And from there, we can start to communicate intercontinentally to build a relation that will facilitate our cultural, social, and economic potential. And I'm very happy that I am having a lot of people coming in the group. I'm still linking with other countries like Swaziland and Botswana, Lesotho, also including the French countries, because I will be touring to West Africa very soon, a boss, and I will be going to Mali, Burkina, Benin, Niger, Togo, Ghana, then come back home to Gambia. I'm also planning, I want to make sure that I will visit the whole continent to meet our fellow brothers and sisters who are willing to work together with us to help Africa unite. With this power and the organizations we have in different countries, would be able to show our government that the African continent, the people, whether Africa or outside Africa, are uniting. And we want our governments to understand us so that they will be able to meet our needs. As for me, I think it will not be easy to unite the African states, but we can unite culturally, socially. Through that, we would provide them with a possibility to meet our needs and facilitate those needs for us so that our development would continue to flourish. That is why put up all together was very hard. You also with the exploring of the continent of Africa group in the Facebook, because we are sharing the same vision. And it's like we have that potential us to walk through that. Definitely.
Beautiful. Everyone, if you're listening in the Facebook group, and for those who will be listening once this is posted out to YouTube, the gentleman, Cindy, who just spoke, is someone who I did not know personally. He did not know me personally, but we met and we understood each other instantly. I think that's what happens when we allow the unknown to become known. We become instruments of that higher force, in my belief. Questionable by some, I can understand that. But when we allow the natural force to take place between us, uh, we have no impossible stance in front of us that we cannot overcome. And that's my personal belief. Cindy and I, again, we met on Facebook. This technology has opened many doors. And why we are going to succeed, I must tell you, unlike Marcus Garvey, who tried, as many of you might be aware of his history, reconnect the Americans back to Africa. He did not have the instruments that we have, that is the internet. Imagine if Marcus Garvey had the internet, the power to communicate with people in whatever places that they were connected to the internet. How much more successful would have been, had he had this technology that we have? I would say further to you guys, if you go back into the slaves who were sold into all parts of the Americas, what if they had the ability to communicate back to their parents, their friends in Africa from where they came from? How much quicker would the process of would be placed in front of them to reconnect? This could have happened centuries ago, but they did not have the technology that we have. So I encourage everyone to understand the power of the internet service that we have, how we can utilize it to leverage the things that we're seeking to do, how we can mitigate many of the issues that has been part of our culture, open discussion, developing an agenda to be aware of each other personally and knowledgeably as we process through some of the things that we're going to process through. Let me share one of my experiences to you. And not to be one to get offended, but one to understand. A gentleman joined my Facebook group, and automatically he said, "You're a white man." And I know why he was saying, "You are a white man," because what his eyes allowed him to see. Um, and that he didn't know me, obviously, and I didn't know him. But he was judging that based upon his vision and what he saw as a person. He knew nothing about the history of the slaves who were sold from Africa into all parts of the Americas. Our ancestors had to endure through unbelievable, harsh, cruel punishment. Um, if he knew history and understood the history of what my ancestors in America went through, he would not see me as a white man. He would see me as a person who has evolved in the concept that our ancestors was placed under and in is today. So having that experience, and I'm going to say that it was a wonderful experience, it taught me that Africans don't know our history. It taught me that we don't know African history. And once we understand our history, we will better be able to better come together to work through our differences. So we're taking a journey to develop building process relationship both within Africa, as Cindy said, and also within America, and then unite the two together over time. Someone just posted a comment. Building up the united culture of Africa will facilitate our relationship and us, as well as uniting with our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. That is very true, everyone.
Who is that?
Denny, we have some noise. I don't know who that person might be.
Somebody.
Okay.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to ask those who are in the Facebook group. I've been posting this stuff out for some time about the meeting today. We should have about 30 or 40 or 50 people in here. United Culture of Africa. We should have huge representation from you guys, but you're not here today. But we're not going to punish you for your unwillingness, apparently, if you could be in here to participate. And we're going to show you with what we do today as to why you need to participate in the future. So if you're listening, and if you will watch this when we post it out on YouTube, it would be appreciated. If you share it with your friends, we would even more appreciate it. But this is just the beginning of a long journey that we're going to undertake. It has been taken before in the past. We're nothing unique about what we're doing. There are other groups that are organized, that are doing things that are even more successful than we are. And I can understand that. But I'm bold enough in my way of thinking that our journey is going to end with a victory for everybody who participates. So, Cindy, I'm going to share at this point the agenda for today, okay?
Yes.
Bear with me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
Okay.
For some reason, okay. You guys see that?
Yeah.
So, hold on just a second. Okay, everyone. I think you guys might like what we are trying to do using unique colors. And there is a map of Africa and the world in which it is in today, as we all are in the world, sharing our different experiences. Um, this meeting today is very critical and will set the tone for how we will develop over time. Set different goals, and we have to have little goals that we can achieve in order to achieve the bigger goal. And that is to unite the cultures of Africa. Cindy, you recognize the task in front of you, as I recognize the task that is in front of me. Again, as I
Yes.
stated to everyone, we have the power in front of us of the internet. If our ancestors had this power many centuries ago, think where today agenda would be, how different it would be from what it is. So if we understand the power that we have collectively and as individuals, we are going to make a difference. And I'm just so convinced that that's going to happen that I'm willing to tell you guys that 300, 400, maybe 1,000 years into the future, which we cannot see. I cannot see tomorrow into the future. And I will ask each of you, where will you be 100 years from today? Obviously, you're not going to be here. I'm not going to be here. But I want to make sure you guys are inspired to understand what we do today can be meaningful for those people in the future from 100, 200, 300 years from today. We can unite. I can sleep on it, I can wake up on it, and I can believe in it. And I have to have you all to be just as inspired as Cindy and myself is. I have to have your willingness to find meaningful ways to work with the agenda that we're going to try to develop. Not only that, this is not going to be an agenda just by Cindy and myself. We cannot do it all. I'm not a smart person. I am not. There are many people on this planet Earth from our culture that will have to participate, bring in the broader agenda to make it work. So I'm confident that we have those people coming in. I want to recognize Queen, Lena. You cannot come in here and be quiet. You know that. Hello.
All right, how you guys?
Doing great, sweetheart. Thank you for your presence this morning. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's start the agenda. The meeting is again the start of our camp that we're going to be successful at, because I believe that everybody, because you are in here, you believe in the agenda as well, as we will reveal it. So I want to have this rule out. I do it with all of the meetings. because I think it's critical to understand how we are to conduct our meetings. And that is to maintain a level of civility. We're going to implement these rules each and every meeting. First rule is please use the Zoom feature to raise your hand to be recognized. So simply raise your hand. Everybody's going to have something they want to say, and that's wonderful. And should you respond to a question in the room, rule number 2, try to keep it under 5 minutes. Look, many of us are so brilliant in our presentations, how we articulate things, and I know that. But we have to be considerate of other people who are sharing our comments. And other thing, if you have any questions, I would just continue to ask everybody to consider the other members within the group. Don't try to overtake the conversation. Be a part of the conversation so we can have multiple individuals to make contributions. Now, here's the big kicker number 4. Use language or you become disruptive. Sorry, guys, I'm going to take you out of this meeting and we can have a discussion after the meeting, but nobody's going to come in this meeting, myself, Cindy included, to be disruptive or to have arguments that does not materialize into something beneficial. We will, in an attempt, number 5, we must learn to agree to disagree. Even when you consider your points or points to be much more valid than anybody else. Having these rules in play today and for every other meeting is key, in my belief, to developing the agenda so we can work through it and we can plan and we can accomplish some of the things that we set out to do. Okay, everyone? Now, I shared this in a post on Facebook. And the things that you can learn that you were not aware of can really reveal many things that we need to try to understand. And Cindy and I talked about Black History Month in America. And it is a big deal in America because we uncover so many wonderful contributions Black people in America made to this society that I live in. But here's the thing. The Black History Month is celebrated in Canada, the UK, and Ireland. But as you see, but not in Africa. What? Not in Africa. How could that be? Not to belabor the point, but we're coming together not just to celebrate our Black history from Africa and America. We're coming to make new history. So guys, if you have a personality that does not want to be part of something of history making, I will tell you, I thank you for trying to be part of this, but we are going to make new history. So knowing that, and I'm trying to set up everybody to understand, we must have a vision, and our belief of our efforts will become a national event over time. So this meeting that we're developing today and other meetings are going to follow is to develop an agenda that over time and in years to come, it will be replicated in ways in which it will be magnified in nations today that does not exist in. So this is the part of the egg I was telling you about, Yuri. This is the egg that we're in. So please, everyone, bear with it. Now, I want to share another screen. And out in the United Culture of Africa, there was 2 comments posted out to the group. I think are critical to our understanding the mission that we have upon us. And comments are very much, in my opinion, a sincere efforts by individuals to make their thoughts and feelings known. This one opinion was shared. And I think, guys, his name, I'm gonna try to pronounce the last name, Indy. If you read it, I'm only reading the description of the group. This is what his comment happens to be now, and I am so sick. He became sick for just reading the description of the group. And here's why. He says, when they say we will seek our governments to give the diaspora citizenship, that made him sick. Now, On my side of the fence, I say, I'm a diaspora. Why would that make you sick? But he says here, how can we seek our government when they are owned and controlled by the West? I am not going to disagree with this gentleman. I thought his comments need to be broadcast so everybody can read them. Then he said, then it seems we're running another failed agenda. So I guess his name could be pronounced. Someone, if you can assist me, because I'm very uncomfortable with trying to pronounce names.
He's from Cameroon. He's from Cameroon. He's from Cameroon, Tyrone.
He's from where?
Cameroon.
You're not coming across very well. And I know it's because
Cameroon, Tyrone.
I'm sorry. Cameroon. Okay. Okay. Well, listen. I respect his opinion, and I understand his feelings. And for an opinion like that, it deserves us the responsibility to understand him. And if 10, 20 years into the future, he comes back with a different opinion, that meant that we've done something significant. But until that point happened, until it materialized, he represents thousands, maybe millions of others who are in Africa who feels this way. I know that some people look at me as I am and some other African American, Black we call ourselves, as maybe a threat or not a threat, but necessarily we're not considered to be Africans. I can understand why. And when African Americans go to Africa, there's a different treatment. And we seek to be treated like we're family, but yet there are resistance to that. I can understand why. We go to Africa and with good intentions, many do, and we get ripped off by Native Africans. I can understand why. So once we develop an agenda, I believe over time, all of those discomforts that are going on today in the relationship that does not exist will change over time. It will not happen in one day, everyone. But let's again recognize this gentleman and respect his comment. Another comment, I said those two comments. Dr. Molana, I believe. I've seen some of his posts in the group, Cindy, and he says Africa #1 enemy is self. Change the narrative. That's his point of view, right? And he predicated upon, he says, Africa must accept its continental Blackness identity, race first, before tribalism and politicalism. Guys, I respect what he said. And he said, Americans, Europeans, Arabs, and Chinese know that this is the truth. Apparently, this is his experience. I'm not here to debate his experiences in or his opinion. We are here to make sure that everybody's opinion is respected. And even though it might not be appealing, we must accept everything in order to grow. There's no way that growth will take place meaningful through generation to come unless we address all of the issues that are there. Okay, I'm going to move fast. You guys can read that. We are intended to have a mission of developing our history celebration with descendants all around the world. And that is understanding our history separately will provide the link to help us to connect. So I knew very little about African history until I formed that Facebook group. Cindy, I didn't know that the wealthiest man to ever live in the world was in Africa. And you share with me, and if you will share a little bit about Manamusa, I think is his name, a little bit about your experiences and your family history. Cindy?
Network. Yeah, I'm hearing you. It's just your voice is going on and off. Maybe it's my network.
I'm sorry.
You're talking about Mansa Musa and Kankan Mansa Musa.
That is correct. Your family is connected with him, right?
Yeah, because my ancestors were generals in the empire. That is my ancestors linked to my father's mother. Those are the ones, they were generals in Kankang Mansa Musa's empire, and one of them came down to Gambia, and he was the one who really formed the Gambia, called Amara Sonko.
Okay.
He was a general in Kankang Mansa Musa's empire.
Okay. So it was totally up to 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I had no knowledge about this wonderful experience, wealthy man. I did not. We don't teach that over in America, and I don't know if it's taught any other place in the world. But I did not know that part of African history. But that is the point. That one example that I just shared with you guys is the reason why we must incorporate the Black History Month in America, the African history.
No, it's off. Oh, the video and the.
Hello. Somebody, I think it's Clarence.
Yes, how you doing?
Yeah, fine. Could you mute yourself, sir? Okay. Thank you, sir. So look, everyone, it's imperative, it's necessary for Africans to understand the history of the Africans who were sold around the world, how they evolved, how they endured some of the circumstances they had to endure, and some of the people who made an amazing contribution that many Africans know little about. And we have to understand Africans and the contribution that they made to the world, mainly to the continent of Africa. Okay, guys, so the next slide is one of the members posted this out, and this to show you how you can be ignorant towards history when you don't know it. Henry Sylvester Williams was the organizer of the first Pan-African conference in 1900. This man that you're looking at, the first one, according to what was posted out, was the first organizer for this concept. I think we have to really say something here. Queen Elena, you have a comment, please. You need to unmute yourself, sweetheart. Unmute. Queen, you're muted. Okay. There you go.
First of all, if it wasn't for the diaspora community fighting for Africa, the world really wouldn't care about Africa. So it's very important, that we engage and educate Africa because, they may hear things and know some things. A lot of them know more of the spiritual side of it, as far as how life civilization goes, but they don't really know outside of Africa unless we tell them, like we're doing. We tell them when it's happened. That's why Africa needs to be, more appreciative when a diaspora is coming to help them. And not look at us like we are foreign. We are foreigner. We are foreign. That's true because we're born in another country. But DNA wise,
yes.
And I speak this because I my DNA, and I have 7 different countries that's in my DNA. Learn how to appreciate it.
Yes.
Learn receiving us. You understand? By nature, we can be very giving kind people.
Right.
We don't want to be taken advantage of. And we're not, I can't speak for everybody, but I know when I go to Africa, I'm not going to Africa to take advantage of nobody. I'm going because I'm being too spiritual to go. It's like I use the word divine order to go, like many of us, we're on a divine journey.
Listen, Queen, let me say this. I don't know what it is with your sound. I can discern what you're saying, but there's a lot of, I don't know if you got something else in play.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got the heater hood. It's cold over here in New Orleans. So can you hear me better?
Yeah. Do you have a Facebook page open at the same time?
Can you no? Can you hear me better?
Uh, I would say it's about the same, but listen, I think your points must be understood. That's why I think it's necessary for you to clear your voice.
Okay, I don't know. I'm here. I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but it's like you're in a concealed space, or where you
I
don't
don't
have good
know.
connection.
Can you hear me, Lawrence? Brother Lawrence, can you hear me? Yes. Okay.
I
He can hear.
we can all hear you. It's just the audio. Your audio just sounds a bit muffled.
Okay. Okay. So if you can understand this message, let me be very quick in what I say. I say I know that we are on a divine assignment to come to Africa and help Africa. So it is good to implement and practice receiving us because we're coming with good hearts. We're coming with compassion. We're coming with care. And you don't want to take advantage of people when they're coming to help you because, in all honesty, nobody else cares about Africa. It's us, the destroyers, that cares about Africa. Nobody else can care less about Africa. The world doesn't care about Africa. When missionaries come to Africa, they're coming for their own agenda. I'm not going to say that you don't have people there that care, but for the most part, they're coming for their own agenda. But when you get your skin color coming, we're coming out of a supernatural push. We're coming out of our DNA because our ancestors are over in America. They're over in the UK. They're over in the Caribbean islands. We're coming out of compassion. We're coming because we care. We're being pushed spiritually because we care. So it's up to the Africans on the continent to implement and learn how to receive us.
Yes.
Implement that.
Yes.
It's going to take, it took time to destroy a lot. It's going to take time to rebuild. I know many of you guys want jobs and you want security, you want certain things, but all that takes time. But when we're coming as the forest, know that we're coming with compassion and we want to help, but we don't want to feel as though we're being taken advantage of. Because if that happens, then you're going to push your how should I say, you're going to push your wealth away. You're going to push your kindness away. You're going to push your compassion away. So that's something that needs to be implemented on a continent of Africa among all mankind. That is the first, and more so, it's the first from America that is being pushed to come more so to help the continent of Africa.
Beautiful. Beautifully stated. Thank you, Elena. Guys, I want to tell you all, if you don't know Queen Elena, please get to know her. She has a big heart and she's very spiritual and she say things, but what she says she means well about it. And I have grown to respect her dearly. So we got a lot of good, wonderful people in this group today. And let's be respectful and look up to each other with a great amount of respect. We are the new history makers. Get used to that. What you're doing today is new history that we have embarked upon. Let me reiterate again the power of what we have in our hands. Henry Sylvester Williams, imagine how even more successful he would have been or could have been if he had what we're using now that we might be taking for granted, the power that we have. We are connecting. So understand the power of this connection, what we can do with it, and how we're going to take it to the level in which it is not expected. So everyone, I know that you might have some comments. We'll get into that in a minute or so. But let me kind of go, I think, to the last slide. Well, that was the last slide. So let's have some discussion now. So we can kind of feel the thoughts that some of you guys might have. And again, I will share with everyone in this room. We are all as brilliant as the next person is. We all have our significance of who we are as people. So I'm not going to at all make anybody feel like you're less than somebody else. Now, that being said, I see the hand up of Mr. Ross. My brother, you got the chime in, and thank you so much for raising the hand. I appreciate that.
All right. It's good to be here once again. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir. I hear you very clear.
Okay. What do you say? I know that our desire, all of us have the desire for unity. Africa, but we also have to look at something like what? 54 countries, with many of them with more than one ethnic group. Now, I've dealt with different ethnic groups in Africa. I've dealt with different ethnic groups in America that were from Africa. And you will see, obviously, Yorubas and Igbos have their cliques, and just like in the United States, we have many times those of us on the South side want to have gripes against those on the North side. Idea we've been going for unity, what do you say, since 1900. Okay, the brother with the first Pan-African. Okay, yes. We've been to where I don't believe we have 100 years. Okay, I don't believe we have 100 years. We have, especially in America, where we look at, oh, our job is to get together and assist Africa in getting together. Where you say we're the diaspora. We're from all over Africa. We care about all of Africa. We see Ethiopia with what do you say? I don't know how many ethnic groups, 10, 20, 30 built into Ethiopia with, who was it? Haile Selassie was emperor. And what's an emperor? An emperor has an empire. An empire is a bunch of kingdoms basically forced together. And now we want to see unity when they're at odds. What do you say? Ethiopia at odds with Ethiopia, Ethiopia at odds with Somalia, Ethiopia at odds with Egypt, Sudan at odds with the blacks in Darfur, South Sudan at odds with other group in South Sudan. I'm just saying that's the opposition. We don't have 100 years. We have to have something that brings us together quickly as a people. We don't have an African leader. If Mandela was still around, we could look at, hey, well, maybe, we may not agree with everything Mandela did, but we have a leader. I guess the only one we have kind of close to a leader now is Kagame of Rwanda. And he's doing, we may not all agree with that. So, like I said, we have to have what? You have to have a leader. You have to have a Martin Luther King, a Malcolm X, everybody to get. Yeah, you need a leader. You need a vice leader. You need a third leader in case something happens all along the way. We've got somebody to take their place, and we have a direction that we're going in. And that's all I have to say briefly.
Brother, that was beautiful. Everyone, the empowerment of change in each and every one of us. We are just as powerful as anybody that you will meet in the universe. We are. I think the biggest leader that we can develop is our image. And I'll get a little bit into that, but not too much. If we go back into the origin of human species, as it happens to be, and if we believe in the higher order of reality, it says that man was created in the image of the Almighty God. If that so be the case, and that so be true, and we know that the first people on the earth were in Africa, then we have to make a discernment that the Africans are walking around in the image of the Most High. Their image is of the Most High, their image. And if they are black, that is his image. If they speak different dialect, that is his image, because they have evolved on the earth in which they were placed in. So I think if we understand the power of understanding the image that we are, people of color, then that can become a self-fulfilling leadership within itself. Because if we have a connection to that image, and if that image embraces love, kindness, forgiveness, connecting us to our most creative side, which we can go out and build pyramids, as we have done, that is the image that Africans are made from, made of. I think everybody has to embrace the image. And it may be impossible, I think, Lawrence, and I understand what you're saying about leadership. Leadership is necessary. But if the image within us empower us to connect, we will be done the higher order of things that is needed to be done, and we'll know it with confirmation to others. So I agree with you. There's so many unraveling issues in Africa, even in America. I belong, for example, in a fraternity, and we have different little spats with other fraternities. I think it's really stupid and foolish because, number one, we are Greek fraternity, Greek fraternities and sororities, Greek of all things. That within itself is another element to disconnect us from our culture. And I say so, and many would possibly fight me to death over it. I'm entitled, as I stated earlier, my opinion. My opinion does not have to be shared or agreed upon. I just want you guys to listen to my opinion as you guys share your opinion. I'm going to ask a man to kind of speak at this point, and I'm putting you on the spot. What is your take so far, Yuri? Mr. Yuri? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you really have put me on the spot.
I knew it.
Oh, no real comments. I'm here more to, I'm more here just to listen and learn and to take and yeah and to take notes. But I think I think if anything, I just hope if time is on a lot of people's side, we can sort of use the Facebook group also as a place of exchanging ideas and as well as learning more about the continent and the in the diaspora. I was because I was listening to Brother Lawrence or Mr. Ross, and I completely disagreed with his with his assessment of Paul Kagame and Nelson Mandela. But this is where this group is going to be good because I'll be happy to share some links on how Paul Kagame is not the African leader we should aspire to, and also critically look at Nelson Mandela, who yes was a good was a good leader when it came to ending racial apartheid, but sadly he did not end economic apartheid. And I was actually going to share some links for that, but that's what's going to be good about about the Facebook group as we develop more into it as a place of exchanging of ideas and perhaps even debates if and perhaps even debates if need be, provided that it's provided that they're that it's civil. And I like that that one of your rules is that we try to be very civil with one another when when exchanging ideas, when having discussions and whatnot. So
thank you, sir. Well spoken. And everyone, as long as we have meetings and Mr. Yuri is going to be in here, I'm going to respectfully always turn to him because he's a very wise young man and very knowledgeable and can articulate himself extremely well. And if you have not seen any of his one-on-one videos, I will try to share that with the group because you need to come to understand him. And Yuri, I will over time have some guests that I would like for you to interview, who I think can be contributors to what we're trying to do. Okay, so I'm going to go around the room. Okay, sir, thank you. I'm going to go around the room. I want to welcome Lucille from Kenya to our meeting today. Always a pleasure to have you in here. And thank you for being a part of us. You want to say something to the group, Lucille? Lucy, are you able to talk? You need to unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone.
There you go.
Greetings from Nairobi, Kenya. Sorry, I'm under the weather. I have a cold, but I'm listening and I'm getting to learn a lot from you people. Sorry, I've not been around for some time now, but I'm glad I could join you today. And quite a good topic that I'm learning about African culture and everything about it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lucille. And I do hope you feel better. Okay, Dr. Cook, I'm going to put you on the floor. If you will unmute yourself and share some of the comments or the feelings that you are kind of picking up as we move along. I would appreciate it.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm basically listening. My comments will be brief. I really thought there would be more people on today because I really enjoy the conversations that we had on our WhatsApp group. I believe we have over 65 people on that, and I just really thought that everyone would be on. I know that people have things to do, but just take some time out to come in, to listen, to share, and to learn because we don't know it all, and they don't know what all is either. But when we share information, that's how we learn. And basically, we learn from the research as well. But I just basically want to just learn from everybody because we got different information. That's the uniqueness about all of us. We have information and we learn from each other. And some of us really want to learn from our ancestors, learn our cultures, where we came from. And that's the importance of this group. It's important for everybody to share, but not be critical. And then if you are critical, provide the evidence to show that information. But I just basically, I love the love, and I want everybody to basically share the love as well. But we're basically going to come in and learn, and not hopefully not be taken advantage of by anyone, but just learn and move forward as a people, because that's who we are. We have to learn that we are each other. We come from same people. So that's the love I want to learn, continue to learn, and be able to share. Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Cook. Cindy, you got your hand up, sir. Cindy, your hand is raised. And by the way, Clarence, I'll be calling on you next, okay?
Okay.
Cindy.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I lost my network because I'm at the border with Gambia and Senegal. I was having a meeting with the Senegalese, my Senegalese partners, so I lost the network. But
Okay.
I was able to come back. Now I'm back again. I'm in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cindy, let me chime in on something that Dr. Cook just made very evident. I've seen a lot of strong comments out in the group, and but I see weak presence of those individuals who could have come into this meeting today. Some may not have the resources to do so, but if you can get out there and share all of your points and views and out on the WhatsApp, and we schedule a meeting and you don't show up, I think Dr. Cook is right. We need to know that support is paramount. And I thought we were going to have a huge gathering today, especially from the people of the United Culture of Africa. And for those who just see this video, yes, I'm talking about you. We have to be courageous, not just in how we comment ourselves out there in the public, but be courageous by coming in here. As you had said, that we will have disagreements. But as long as we can be civil in our disagreement, how we see things, that's how we grow. But I'm not disappointed. This is sometimes when you do it enough, you begin to expect that we're not going to be as supportive. And that's one of the weaknesses I must tell you, I must share with you, that I perceive in our race is that we do not support each other. That is a hill that's going to be very hard to climb, but I'm determined to take those steps. When I did the Diaspora in Africa Friday event, I thought at least we would do thousands of dollars. And people would buy stuff. Queen Elena had a beautiful line of products that I will be buying, including that liqueur, I think, Queen. So I got to get some of that to enjoy it. But we got a lot of fronts that we must cover together, and we must be patient with each other, but we must be firm to each other as well. When we don't do what we know we can do, we need to be able to call people out. So if you can shout and scream in that group on the United Culture of Africa, come in here and shout and scream. Show your presence. Doing that is a sense of empowerment to the group. Do you have any comments on that, sir?
Yeah. I was thinking is maybe some of the members will not have enough data to join the meeting because in Africa, this kind of meetings would cost some bit of money, really.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure everybody is having the money to buy that data. I have seen in the United Culture Group some other people asking for the link. I even send them the link. I don't know whether they will.
Yeah.
That's true. If I can say something.
They will come in or not. Now, we cannot have maybe everybody in the beginning at the same time. So I said I will be going back to the group, and I want to know why does the other members why don't they come in? Because it's important to know we are here to support each other, and we are here to unite. It will be good to be exchanging ideas and coming up with what happened. Some of the members didn't.
Yes.
Their problem. Some of them have money on date. Maybe that is all what we can follow it up and see what really happened. Other members join.
Got you.
Yes.
Everyone, Yuri just shared something in the chat. Please, when you get a chance, download that and kind of get some of the things that he's trying to share with the group. Mr. Clarence, sir, you know I got to tell you I'm glad to see you. You're very supportive and have been. And you see what, and I think you've listened to what our discussion is all about. So kind of share your opinion with me, sir.
Yeah, I came in kind of late, and one thing that I heard you say that we can support, they support Black History Month in Canada and also in, like you said, the UK, but not in Africa. I thought that kind of disturbed me that it's not being done there. But my other point is, Mr. Ross and Mr. Uri, I noticed that they have a different opinion about Nelson Mandela. And that's the beautiful thing about this group, that I had high expectations of Mr. Mandela myself, for him being in prison and getting out and becoming the president of South Africa. I believe it was South Africa. But I'm sure there was some flaws in his policies and everything else. And that brings me to my whole point. Whenever we are in power as a Black person, whether it's a male or female, as a president of a country, Barack Obama, he has people that he has that put limitations on him on what they can do. And I'm thinking that if we can get rid of that outside influence that's always sitting there saying that you have to follow this agenda or that agenda, and you can't do this for your people. If we can get rid of our oppressors, and that's anywhere in the world, we can get rid of our oppressors, and they won't be influencing us to be against each other. That's the whole agenda is divide and conquer, to have us to disagree with each other in some kind of way, that we just can't come together as one. That's all I have to say.
Well stated. And Queen Elaine, I'm going to get on you, but 1 second. I think that's what I have discerned in my watching and listening and observation, is that we have a poor image of ourselves. We really don't see ourselves as being powerful people. Thereby, the oppressors may have captured that notably through the years. And they said to themselves, these people don't see who they are. And they took advantage of us. But once we learn who we are, that becomes the leadership that we're looking for. Our self-image of who we are as people, as human beings, that will empower you. So you would be separated when you know somebody intended to separate you. You'll be able to come together with a greater understanding of who you are. So anyway, Queen, you got some points, sweetheart.
I wanted to say I agree with the brother that was speaking, that a lot of them don't have data, or may not have money for data, or don't want to waste their money on data. It's different in America. We pay a monthly fee, or we can try stuff out for free, like Zoom or White Cloud or something for a trial period. Over in Africa, a lot of their data is handled by the Chinese, and they have to pay for everything. So they have to, there's sometimes they can get free data late at nighttime, but that's going to be probably when a lot of us are sleeping. But yeah, if it's going to take up a long time, the mindset in Africa is survival. Survival. They don't have recreation like we do in America, or we're able to go out and do things like everything requires money over there. You have just simple things. To go to the park, somebody's going to be trying to collect money, from you. It's always collecting money. So we have to keep that in mind when we're asking them to do certain things. We have to make it as tangible as possible, because majority, especially ones that we're dealing with, they do not have the funds to be able to do certain things. And a lot of them probably come to the platform because they're looking, it's like fishing. They got a bait and they want to try to catch some fish so they can feed their family. So a lot of them are coming to the platform because they're thinking, oh, this organization is going to be different from the other organizations. This organization is something different. They're looking for stability. Some of them, they're living on generational wealth. To be quite honest, Africa has a lot of generational wealth. A lot of them are living on generational wealth. They're living on land that their ancestors left them, but they don't have the finances to sustain where they're living because the job market is crushed. They don't have jobs there. So I took a video in a group from a sister from Uganda. So you gotta come to Africa with jobs. If you're coming to Africa, think you're going to get a job unless you're coming through the UN, United Nations, or you're being hired by a company that's manufacturing or that's in Africa. You can't go to Africa looking for a job. You got to go and create jobs. That's what Africa needs. So when it comes to saying let's do something like this on a magnitude or a platform or something like that, we can be in a position to say, okay, let's give you $5. When our organization as a whole make money, we can maybe disperse to them data so they can come to the event. So we can have something in place to be able to help them to come to the Zoom event, because again, they're in survival mode and they don't have the extra money just to come and participate in a Zoom call. So for 40 or 50 minutes. Okay, not everybody in that position.
Yes. Queen Elena, I thank you for that explanation. I thank Cindy for making us aware. We have to broaden our understanding as to how people who have been conquered remain conquered because of the circumstances that's already in place. I've said arrogantly, and I think I didn't mean to say this mistakenly, but I've said that across the earth, Native Africans should be the highest middle class people in the world based on their natural resources. But we see that's not the case. They are poor in many instances. Queen Elena, you and I raise money, as you know, to try to help the people in Somalia who are sleeping out in rag huts. Some of you all, if you saw some of the pictures, the residents that they were living in had flooded out. So people were going to bed in wet beds, getting up in water each and every day. They had to deal with mosquitoes and all those harmful things. And you know what? They didn't have facilities to take a bath, change clothes, or place to relieve themselves. So this is their reality. We don't see it. We're not a part of it. But I think as we grow, I think as we begin to understand the power that we possess individually and the power that we can develop as a group, I'm confident that we are the change that can bring about the change that is needed. Um, Even if you look at a bigger issue that I see, when businesses in Africa want to build and design themselves to make products, they have beautiful products. And if you notice some of those products when you buy them, the shipping fees go through the roof. I mean, it's so expensive. I had a couple of people to tell me I was getting ready to buy something, but when they told me the shipping fees, I turned against that. I've learned by investigating that there's many reasons why the shipping fees are high. Some instances, the government put taxes on stuff going out of the country. The transportation system hamper people from having the availability to flow with their products directly to different places. And then the shipping companies make money. So the only solution to that, everybody, is that we, us who are talking today, unify ourselves to have a company that is co-owned by Africans and African Americans, built upon the element of the shipping concept. If we can start that one industry, we can take advantage of that one industry, should I say. It is a monopoly now. I don't know of any Black people that have heroes and DHL that make those kind of decisions when shipping is considered. I think we have enough intelligence in Africa, and Queen Elena, as you stated, there's money over there in Africa. But if we could develop a shipping company, that's just one of the things we can put on the agenda. And if 10 years from now, there's a shipping company that handles all of the products going to and from Africa, and that shipping company is owned by Africans and African Americans or other members of the diaspora, we are beginning to make inroads into progress of being not dependent upon somebody else. In most instances, we're totally dependent. I will tell you something else, guys. I'm not comfortable with Facebook or with WhatsApp. WhatsApp is owned by the same entity. Facebook, as you know, will penalize you if you get a little bit too aggressive in areas which they think they don't want you to be participating in. Like, for instance, I posted a couple of pictures about African American who was lynched. Facebook told me that went against their community policy, that posting those pictures about Black people who were being lynched was against their community policies. And I said, USOBs, because I challenged people to ask the question was, have you ever seen a picture of a white man being lynched and Black people standing underneath the lynched body with their kids celebrating that? I'm yet to find someone who can respond. But yeah, there's a picture that Black people lynched a white person and the whole family, they made a picnic event out of it. That did not happen. But Facebook did not want me to post that out. I've been pissed with them ever since. Everybody, another thing I want you to be aware of. I am going to try to develop a website. A website. If we want to be empowered, we need to take the power in our own hands. My ambition with that website is quite, I will make it clear to you. I want to have at least 10 million members. That is very minuscule compared to what Facebook has. We can pull all of the people from Facebook and WhatsApp into an environment that is friendly towards the purpose of who we are. That is beginning the stage of empowerment. That is beginning the stage of change. That is the beginning of developing that we too can stand on our own. So I will be developing that website coming in the next couple of months. When I do, I'm going to go on Facebook and ask you guys to join this website. And here's something I want you guys to realize, that I understand the capitalistic mindset. Lots of people want to be rich and wealthy. I understand that. I really do. I want my Mercedes-Benz. I understand that. But we have to break that cycle in our community. So when this website gets to be powerful, and it will, that's how I think, that's how I believe, that's what I'm going to do, then I will have people coming to me to run ads, okay? Because of the hits and the cycle of people coming to the website. When I get that kind of income coming in, I'm not going to be greedy with it. Okay. There are so many purposes in Africa that need to be funded to help feed people, to help provide shelter, to happen. Here's the other thing, everybody. Africa has the ability to grow and to become a leader in the world where it does not have its people being broadcast in ads about the suffering that they're enduring, the homelessness that they're enduring, not having food or water. Like in for instance, Nigeria, over 117,000 kids per year die due to drinking contaminated water. Africa has the resources, if it was there to benefit the people, to never have those circumstances in place. Africa have the resources where Africans should never be leaving the continent, taking trips in boats, trying to get to other nations. And many times boats are overturned and hundreds of people are dead. It should be just the reverse. Africa could be the nation where people around the world seek to come into it. But in the hands it is currently in right now, in the control is not there to benefit Native Africans. Major corporations are not there to benefit Native Africans. Nations around the world is not there to benefit Native Africans. So the empowerment that I guess I'm trying to get to, my point, is that the diaspora, we understand, as you said, Queen, what we can do. Cindy, I'm going to ask you, we're going to explore how to get our Native Africans to disengage the mindset that has been part of their culture to see us as being different. They need to see us as being family who's coming back home. They need to see us as being solution makers who are coming back home. They need to see us as being change makers that will make the change, that will make generations to come, not live under conditions and circumstances they live in. There are some nations in Africa I've seen, people are grown, they do not have shoes to put on their feet. Imagine that. Many of you guys probably got nice shoes on right now. Many of you guys are probably living in air-conditioned homes and heating services. They don't have that. So Africa has everything it needs, except it does not have the image of its people to see how valuable they are. Now, guys, I'm not going to hold this long. I think we've had a great meeting. Anybody want to have any parting shots? Please go at it. Queen, you care to make a parting shot? Okay, you must have left your hand up. You must have left your hand up.
Okay. Oh, sorry. No. Go ahead, brother.
Your connection is really bad. I got to be honest with you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Why don't we let you when we do another meeting when the clarity, because I don't want your beautiful points to go unheard and not listened to and understood. Okay.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Cindy, you have any parting comments, sir?
Yeah. But that is why I formed the United College of Africa, because we're going to work on this sensitization to let the African people know we and our American brothers and sisters, the diaspora, those living in any part of the world, we are all blacks and we came from Africa. It's why on this United States of Africa, and I'm so that all the members of the different areas to be able to have meetings with them, planning how are we going to work with the diaspora and how are we going to build ourselves together to make our governments to understand we are not the black people that make the unification of Africa. It might take some time, but I think we can break through. It's just a matter of patience. And morality will help us a lot to be able to deal with lots of different people. People are different. We all different from feeling and thinking. We attribute our discriminated conscience is all different. But as long as we are trying to come together,
You're breaking up, Cindy.
bring up a relation that I'm breaking up here.
Yes.
What I'm saying, as long as we are coming together, building a mutual relation that would come to be one, I think there is a possibility for Africans to see the diaspora as Africans and not see them like white people or
Yes.
I have in the possibility of making this happen because the way I was able to bring all these different countries together. I mean, it took me 9 to 10 months to be chatting with all different people, explaining what we want to do for Africa. And someone they start to understand me. Though still not having problems like a bit of Nigeria and other countries that are not still willing to come up like this that are already in Europe. But I have the trust, that this is a way forward. But happening. Everything is hard. But when we pass the beginning, there is a possibility for people to understand more. He's doing a lot for us. And we as Africans, we have to understand something that we want to come together. It is hard. Poverty is draining the continent. And though I say country is not even poor, because Africa is the richest continent in the world. But the misappropriation and the maladministration of our leaders is taking us, is seeing the continent.
Yes.
But we are coming now as a family to preserve the indigenous culture. As you said, we're going to create new cultures. We're going to create new history.
Yes.
Because what is culture? Culture is a way of life. We just have to change our ways of life. It might take some time, but as long as we are embarking on the journey, there is a lot of possibilities to break through it. Tyrone.
Thank you, Cindy. You, everybody, I have not met a wiser man than Cindy, so I endear his comments, his feelings, and I think we've known each other and never met each other. That's just tell you a little bit about how he and I both understand. And let me say this to you guys. What you see that's happening between Cindy and myself has to be the example to other organizations. Across the world, there are all different kinds of organizations. But there's a power to understand when we are to come together and not to have a church on this corner, and every little pastor in those churches trying to get other members. We don't need that anymore. This is about uniting. And if we can unite with other Facebook group, I've tried that. I'm not giving up on that. We're not going to fail. You never fail when you try. That's a fact that I've learned in the years of my living. You fail when you think a good thought and you don't act on it. Because that good thought that you guys have in your head right now is what the world needs. And I know everybody in here has good thoughts and good spirit. Cindy and I understand the power of uniting, and we are going to unite. Nothing is going to stop. But anyways, Mr. Ross, you want your parting shot, sir?
Let me unmute.
Thank you, sir.
All right. You're right. What you say, you don't lose unless you quit trying. And if things take 5 years, 10 years, 50 or 100, we've got to keep moving until, not until we're equal, until we're on top, until we have everything, what do you say? Africa is the richest continent. And we are from that continent. And we all need to move up as one. And we can do it. All we have to do is stay on it. And if there's dissension, handle the dissension and keep moving.
Thank you, sir. Clarence, do you care to make a parting comment, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I hear you well.
That WhatsApp app, I think that's the name of it.
Yes, sir.
Can you share some information with me? I'll try to get on that next time. That seemed like a nice platform.
Okay, I'll make sure that I do that, sir.
And
Okay.
and I echo Mr. Ross' sentiments. We can do this. We can get on one accord. It may take some time, but I believe we can do it as a people.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Dr.
I'm on
Cook?
my way. I'm on my way to see the Book of Clarence.
Wow, wonderful. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your presence. Dr.
Right.
Cook, do you have any parting comments?
I just look forward to the next meeting. And in the next meeting, are we going
They saw me leaving, packing up, so I didn't know.
are we going to have anyone to speak in reference to, you know, presenting any more information in regards to the African history? Are we going to talk about that? What we're planning to do in regards to that?
Okay. Well, we are going to do a 4 weekend in the month of February. Nubia, you guys don't know her, but she's going to conduct clinics, and I have a Dr. Barr, a history of a Black history professor. We will have him to come in and have some discussion. Mr. Uri, I think you just posted something out. If you want to share your comments, sir, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, just in expanding some of the comments that was made about the problems facing Africa. I just posted a link to a friend of mine, Eve Engler, who I've interviewed many times, who's a Canadian historian, media critic, NGO critic, anti-imperialist thinker and activist, and he did a book called Canada and Africa, 300 Years of Aid and Exploitation, which looks at how Western imperialism, ongoing Western imperialism, and that system of capitalism has deliberately kept Africa in the horrible chronic state that that the continent finds itself in. So just post that.
Mr. Uri, I am going to, in weeks to come, sir, exploit you for the positive to uplift people with knowledge that you have. So I just want you to know that some sort of way we'll, as we develop ourselves and get more sound firmness in our agenda than what we are today, you're going to be very much needed. And I know you're a busy person, and I know you've been sick a little bit too. And I'm so happy to hear you. But I'm
no problem,
yeah, brother. Listen, I'm very proud of you as a person. Please, you're going to have to share some of your knowledge to many of us to help us to grow collectively. Okay.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Lucille, I know you are sick and you're under the weather, but can you give us your party shots?
Thank you so much, sir. The only thing I can encourage you is that, as you said, the only guarantee for failure is to stop trying. So keep on trying. Never stop. We are behind you. Yeah.
Thank you. That's very much what we all need. We need to be behind each other. We need to support each other. And when we have disagreement, we need to find out how we can not let those disagreements become divisive. I will tell everybody, beware, when the progress that I perceive we're going to start making starts happening, I can assure you it might be somebody in our group that's going to be pulled to the side, and they might become the disruptive person, not on their own accord, but to build an agenda for somebody else. Right now, we are meaningless. We are just a piece of sand out on the beach. We have no significance at this point in time. But once that sand is pulled together and we see sand as being made into a castle, we become visible. We're no longer that little one grain of sand on the beach. We're now collectively coming together to make a structure that people can see. Once that happens, I can assure you, those who are in power, when they see that we are developing power in our coming together, we are a threat. Just face it, and you know what, everyone, when we become a threat, that is when we can claim victory. When China can recognize us and start strategizing against us, when the CIA of America can recognize us, start strategizing themselves when they have morning meetings. Well, what's happening with that group? What are they doing now? When you hear about us, that's when we are coming together. But until we reach that point, everything we do is muted until we reach that point that they see us and they recognize us and they determine that we are a threat. That is when we're going to succeed, because we know history. How many times true leadership has failed, not because of the leader, but because of the outside forces that looked at what was going on and said to themselves, we can't allow this to happen. We have to be the generation to make it happen. So everyone, I'm so grateful for you guys being in our meeting today. And I will share this with our Facebook group. For those who could not attend, I'm grateful for the fact that your spirit to be in here is certainly there, but you don't have the, as Elena made it very clear, some Native African countries are not provided with those resources where you can be on the internet like I and other people can. That don't mean that we don't hear what you have to say. That don't mean that we don't care about you. You're very important. Everyone, I'm going to conclude the meeting, but please, before you leave, look down in the chat and click on the link provided by Yuri. It's a YouTube clip. Please listen to it. Yuri, you're in that. You're conducting the interview. Is that correct?
The last, no, it's just a presentation that my friend Eve made when he was doing a book tour of his book, Canada and Africa, 300 Years of Aid and Exploitation. Then the other links, the other two links is a journalist, a hero of mine who actually passed away sadly not too long ago, John Pilger, about South Africa after racial apartheid formally ends in the presentation he gave, and then a documentary on Paul Kagame and the skeletons in his closets.
Okay. Okay. Well, everyone, I'm going to try to seek and I say the chat, and I want to share this with the United Culture of Africa so they can dive in deeply and also get to know Mr. Yuri and gain the respect for him that I do. So everyone, I thank you for coming in here today. And again, we are new history being made, okay? Be blessed, everyone. Take care.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, sir.